Hi guys, how are you all? I'm John, and if you've seen my videos before, you may know already that I make music. So I'm a singer-songwriter and an artist.
He doesn't know how to begin. He tries to find where he should go. His hopes and dreams, he can't let go.
I've decided recently to change my name on Spotify, Apple Music, and all of those streaming platforms. So this video is about why I decided to do it, how I've done it, and has it been easy? And if you're maybe on the fence of deciding to do this yourself, maybe with similar reasons, hopefully this video will help you decide to do it. And if you're not sure how to even approach it, then hopefully it helps you a little bit with that. So firstly, why did I do it? So I've been releasing music for about 8 years under the name, my name, John Thacker. I feel like through the 8 years of making and releasing music, I was probably writing before that, but through those 8 years of releasing music onto Spotify, my sound's obviously developed, my artistry's developed, my music has elevated, it's got better, I've learned new things as a writer, as an artist, working with people, with production, all of that stuff, my music's evolved, and I think I've found my sound now. Whereas early on, there's a lot of music out there where I'm still kind of finding my sound a little bit. So I released my first album, which was called Here, in 2015. I think it was 2015. So it's 8 years ago. I was really proud of it at the time. So proud of it, of what I did. I created it all using GarageBand and Logic in my bedroom. No producers helped me with it. I think one song I paid to go into like a studio to do this session with this guy, and that song was Fall Down. And I'm still really proud of like what I did with nothing. And at the time, you know, I don't think there was as many makers at the time as there is, I think, now. I think in the 8 years, I was reading the other day about the amount of artists that are making music and putting it onto Spotify, and it wasn't quite the same then. So I was really proud of what I did. Time has changed, and I feel like I've wanted to do a rebrand for the last few years, just start completely fresh. But I knew that I didn't want to lose those streams that I've already built and that audience that I've already built, because I do have about 400,000 streams on Spotify, which I'm really proud of. So I don't want to lose all of that work that I've done, and then it's just like a complete fresh start. So I knew I couldn't do it if I didn't move stuff across from my old name to my name to my new name, which is John Joseph. And secondly, it's just the sound of it. I think my name, John Thacker, it doesn't quite sound like an artist name. You know, I think John Joseph just has a little bit more of a radio-friendly ring to it. And I feel like John Thacker works for my acting, but it doesn't quite work for my music. This is where everyone's like, oh, it was fine. You should have kept it the same and it could have saved me all this stress. But it also is the rebrand as well. I kind of want to start with not moving everything across. So I knew that I didn't want to move across here, for example. That can sort of stay in that John Thacker era. It's still there, it's not going anywhere. But then I'm starting with this, you know, everything on my profile is work that I want to be. This is John Joseph. This is who he is as an artist, and this is his music. And I recently just got some funding from Help Musicians to do my new single and to get some photos and stuff like that. And I was like, I've got this funding, and it felt really nice that like someone was sort of believing in me. I just felt like, what a great time to start it. It's been on my mind for a while. How have I done it? So it depends on if you've got music that you've released yourself through a distributor, or whether you've released music through a label. Now, good thing about me is I've got both, so I can tell you about both of the processes and what I've lost and what I've gained in a way. So let's start with the easy stuff. So if you've just released music through a distributor yourself, when I say a distributor, I'm talking about CD Baby. I've used Sounddrop. There's a few different ones, loads of different ones actually out there, and loads with different perks, loads with different selling points. Some have different commission, all of that stuff. That is basically when you upload your song to the distributor as a self-contained artist or a self-contained label, or maybe your manager will do it if you've got a manager, and you're not going through a label at all. You're releasing it as an independent artist, and then the music, maybe after a week, maybe less, will then go onto Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, all of the streaming platforms out there. Really easy. What an amazing opportunity that wasn't there like 20, 30 years ago. Sometimes I do think like, how could I have actually released music like without printing CDs and giving them out on the street? Like, we're living in such an exciting time where, anyone can make music now, which is amazing. I mean, obviously, the negative of that is there's so much music being created, so it's even harder to sort of break through. But still really inspiring, I think, that you can really be in control of yourself and you can release music. For this process, it is incredibly easy. You just need to contact your distributor and just say, I would like a metadata change from all of these songs, or if you just want to do a couple of songs, for example, I didn't want to do all of the songs that I have, so I've just given a select few from the last few years to Soundrop. Soundrop replied back and they moved stuff across instantly. Like, instantly. They moved across my email, my EP from 2021, which was called John Joseph, so that worked out really well. And there's a few other tracks that they've not moved over, and their policy is every distributor will have a different policy, and every label, when we get onto that, also has a different policy. So that's why it makes it a little bit harder. So hopefully you've got everywhere in one spot, unlike me. But everything from Soundrop was moved across, apart from their policy was if the artwork has my old name on it, I just need to redo the artwork with John Joseph on it. They can't move it across otherwise. So what I've done is I've got my friend who luckily did the artworks to change to John Joseph, and Soundrop is already in the process of moving those other songs over to the new profile. But some of them have already moved across, which is super easy. Like, it felt like such a relief. Also, a note: the streams, for example, on Spotify do move over, but your followers do not. So I've lost my followers on Spotify. Now, I've only had 170, so it's not a crazy amount of followers, but followers on Spotify are really hard to get, because I think unless you're badgering people, I, as a consumer, don't really follow artists. Like, I just find music and add it to my playlist, yes, but I don't know if I would follow someone. It's not like on Instagram. So I was really proud of getting that 170. It took a lot of badgering, and it's built up and then built up and up. And then I've lost that now. Not the end of the world, but I've kept my streams. And what happened was, on my Spotify for artists, the streams from the profile start from the day the song has officially been moved over to the new profile. So, for example, for the first few days, I only had like 100 monthly listeners, but now it's already going up to, I think it's just over 1,000 monthly listeners. I think yesterday, actually, it just got to 2,000. So it's every day that the songs that have been moved over get streams, it's like starting completely fresh. And then I can see on my old profile that the streams are starting to dwindle and go a little bit more down. Now, the labels side of this. Now, this is tricky because labels are going to have different policies, and I have been very fortunate to have some very understanding labels. 3 labels that I've worked with who I think are great, and I'd love to work with them again, and have got me great Spotify playlists and given me some great opportunities for my songs. They just did it straight away. They were like, done. And it moved across, including my new track, Electrify, which you should check out, which came out in December. And that was the one I was really rooting for, that this gets moved across, because I was like, if that doesn't move across, and that was the first one I tried, I don't know if I want to do it, because that song's my latest song, and I feel like it just would be very confusing. It moved across, and it's already on my new page, which was so easy. All I did was drop them an email, and they did it all for me. So again, it depends on the label. Unfortunately, there was one label who said they wouldn't do it, and I kind of was very annoyed by that, because it was one song that really represents myself as an artist on my profile, John Thacker, and I love it. It's one of I think my best song, and it was very frustrating. And I basically argued it quite a lot because this is my music and it's important to me. And I was even thinking, if they don't move it across, I'm going to do like a Taylor Swift, like do like a John's version, like of the track and re-record everything. So what I did was I emailed them and I said, surely if the song, your song, because it was the only label, if your song ends up on my old profile and is the only song there on a dormant profile, then what benefit is that for you or me? Like, who is it benefiting? And they said, which was fair enough, they replied and just said, currently John Thacker has more monthly listeners than John Joseph. And the agreement was, after some emails back and forth, when John Joseph has monthly listeners that are more than John Thacker, then they'll do it. And I was like, okay, breathe, everything's fine, I can breathe a little. And then they, so it's not quite reached that yet. It's getting very close though. I can see the drop in John Thacker and the sort of boost in John Joseph on my Spotify for artists. So hopefully maybe a month, because some of the songs with the other labels, they've agreed to do it and it's just not gone over quite yet. Whereas some of them, I don't know how they did it. It was literally like the same day. I just went on, it was moved, it was gone. And I was like, what? So it's really hit and miss. So if you're thinking of doing it, my advice to you would be really think about what songs would game change this, for example. If you're happy to just start fresh, great. But say, for example, you've released a song 2 months ago and it's your best work and it represents you as an artist and that has to go onto your new, like you want that to come along on this journey with your new artist name. Contact them first. Don't start moving stuff across. Contact them first and get that one song moved across, because that's your latest song. It's going to be getting you more listeners. It's a song that you care about. And maybe if they say no, it might make you rethink, do I want to do this? And for me, it was the Electrify saying yes that was like, okay, let's do it then. Okay, my latest song's moving across. That's the song that's getting my most streams at the moment. If that moves across, everything else, hopefully I can get as much as possible of my discovery, my work that I want, and go from there. And that's exactly what happened. So that was good. I recommend it. How easy has it been? So I've not announced it yet. I'm waiting for that song that's still on John Thacker to move across. This is like, I've not announced it on my social media or anything. I'm trying to do it as soon as possible because obviously at the moment, like it's going to be a bit confusing because no, I've not officially said it on to my fans or on social media. So if someone's looking up my music, they might be a bit like, oh, where's this song? Or, oh, like, he's just posted about this song, but it's not on his profile, etc. So I'm trying to do it as soon as possible. And a plea to you would be, the one thing I've lost in this process is my followers. And that's something to question as well. How important is that for you? How many followers do you have? I only had 170. But for me, I was proud of that. But I want to get back to 170, if not more, on the new profile with this rebrand. So my plea to you is please follow my new page. I've put it below and it would be a big help. I currently have two followers because I've not announced it yet. So hopefully by the time I announce it, some of you lovely YouTube people will see it and give it a follow. And I'll be happy to do the same for you if you're moving as well. Just comment below and I will do that. And I would do it again because I've been very lucky that every person, even the label that was a little bit tricky, I've reached an agreement with. Everyone's been very understanding. I feel really excited about it. I've written a new artist bio. I've got new content, new pictures for the new page. It feels very fresh. I've got new music that I'm working on that I'm excited to sort of like coincide with the rebrand. And it definitely feels like a new chapter for my music, but still with the streams and still with that sort of foundations that I set as John Thacker, I still feel like I haven't lost that completely. So I definitely would do it again, and I definitely would recommend it if you're in a similar position to me where you've been making music for so long that you don't quite feel like the name is serving you, or your old music is quite serving you anymore. And I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about starting it as John Joseph now, brand new chapter for my music, and it actually it's been work, but it's not been, I've been willing to put in the work, and it hasn't been as stressful as I thought it was going to be. It's mainly just contacting people. I had a few issues on Apple Music where what happened was Electrify got moved over to one John Joseph, and then my EP John Joseph got moved on to a new, so there's like 3 or 4 different John Joseph pages got created. So I emailed Apple Music for artists, so it's good to have all of those different apps, and they've already agreed to sort of sort it out, and they said they're working on it. It should be really easy, and they'll do that. I can't speak for Amazon for Music. Use the apps, so I've not actually looked into sort of how they're looking, but I know they have been moved across, but I just haven't sorted out the pages for them yet. I just want to get Spotify and Apple Music just like nice and polished with the pages, and then I'll sort out the rest of them sort of at a later date. But yeah, I hope this has helped. Thanks for watching. If you're a music maker thinking of changing your name, then hopefully I've helped. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, and yes, please check out my music as well. And my new page, John Joseph, link is in the bio. Have a great day. Bye, guys.